What's going on, everyone? Jack here from Acro, and I've got the Avata 2, and today I'm going to tell you the 10 things I think DJI really nailed when they made this in terms of improving it from the original Avata. I've also done a video of the 10 things that I think DJI could do better, some via firmware, and some might just have to wait to the Avata 3. If you haven't watched that video, make sure you check that out. And let's put DJI on notice. If you want some of those improvements, let them know. Send them that video, tag them, leave comments down below. Let's make this thing even better. But today we're talking about how good it is and how much better it is than this original Avata, a drone that I really enjoy flying. And it does, of course, all start with this much improved camera. This camera is really good. I did like the last one, but we've got a bigger sensor here, 1/1.7-inch sensor. This thing can shoot 4K 60 HDR video. We've got improved rock steady, and we also have D-Log-M. So if you want to grade your footage, it's a lot better. 10-bit D-Log-M, that's a big improvement. Lots of really good things on this camera. It's a good one. They did a nice job on some isolation dampeners here, one-axis gimbal. Good camera, excellent. I'm not gonna need to add any action camera to this thing. That camera is more than good enough. All right, improvement number 2 is just the better design of this thing. You can see it has a lower center of gravity. We have standard props. We don't have the pusher design where they're on the bottom there. It's a little bit wider. It just performs better. With the lower center of gravity and the wider stance, we just have an absolute improvement to this design. The Avata 2 is also lighter, which makes it more maneuverable. Lots of bonuses, just the way they put this thing together. Now, it being lighter also adds another awesome feature. That's a longer flight time. This thing has 5 more minutes of flight time than the original Avata, giving us 23 minutes of flight. Now, most Cinewhoops don't fly that long, not even close, and you're probably not going to get 23 minutes, and that all really depends on how you fly and where you fly and when you fly. All sorts of stuff factor into flight time, but just having more of it is always a good thing, and that's definitely a bonus here. Not only did DJI up the flight time, they also increased the range. This has DJI's 04 transmission system, which gives it better range. You're gonna have up to 8 miles of range. Now, again, you're probably not going to be able to fly 8 miles away, but you are gonna be able to fly in situations where there might be a little Wi-Fi interference. Maybe there's walls or things in the way. Just that better signal fidelity, signal strength is going to make this a better option, a better drone. This right here may not seem like a big deal, but the SD card placement was a disaster on the original. It was here underneath one of the propellers, and I actually switched these aftermarket props because the stock ones made it so difficult to get here, and this still isn't super easy. Just why was it like that? I have no idea, but this is easy, right? I can plug my drone right into a USB-C port here and pull it off the SD card or the internal storage, which they upped. Awesome. Or I can just grab my SD card out from that slot. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that improvement, DJI. When you're flying with goggles, you need that video to be live. You need it to be crisp, and DJI actually improved the latency to 24 milliseconds. That's minute. That's like almost nothing. Now, I don't need the world's greatest latency in order to fly. I'm not a super refined pilot. I'm not racing. 24 milliseconds is legit. That's an improvement from 30 milliseconds, which was still really good. Getting a better, quicker picture here. Also, the viewing bit rate is improved as well. So we get 60 megabits per second up from 50. So better picture, and I get a picture with less latency inside these awesome screens. Now, DJI did totally redesign these goggles. We have this brace up here in the front and a different, really light style foam here. And the combination of these two things just makes it fit people's faces, more people's faces, even better. So that is nice. I do also like the built-in battery rather than a cord hanging down that I use with my that cord here for my goggles too. But this is an improvement. Absolutely big fan of these goggles. I know the Integra goggles had that as well, so they're making those improvements and they're carrying them through onto the newer generations of goggles. In addition to goggles getting better, our controllers did as well. Look at how much smaller this Motion Controller 3 is than the original. It feels a little bit better in my hand. I have the forward and back. I know they added that in the second. I only have the first. I'm not a huge fan of the motion controller itself, but this is much better than it used to be. The new RC is also updated. Rather than the external antenna on the RC2, we have an internal antenna, but improved range anyway. So that's nice. Small upgrade, but we'll take them. Now I've been asking for flight modes with this Avata, and we got easy Acro. So that's something that actually is really cool. If you don't fly Acro, you can kind of work some of those flips and rolls and 180 drift. I think that's the winner right there. With just a little flip of this switch here, you dial it up and you flip it on. Pretty cool. And the last one is the ability to share what I'm doing wirelessly to other people's phones. That is cool. I asked for that on the original. Thank you, DJI, for listening and putting that in there. It is nice to be able to share the experience that I have in the goggles, and people can just tune in on their phones without wires. I don't need an HDMI out. That is fantastic. Now here's the question, what do you think? What do you think is the biggest improvement on this Avata 2? And also, what did they not do that you wish they would have? Leave me those two things down below. We're working on DJI. Listen, I think it is our job as consumers to let DJI know what they're doing right and what they can continue to do better. So let's do it. If you missed it, I made a video on the things that I think DJI could do better with this drone. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but it could be even better. If you haven't done it already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you back. And if you're thinking about getting into part 107, we've got lots of video on that and even more information for our Patreons. Everyone, and happy flying.